Okay, today is February 13th, 1985. This is Joe Todd, an interview with Mr. Wesley A. Crigler. Okay, sir, where were you born?
Where?
Yeah.
In Redoubt neighborhood, east of Rosston.
And when's your birthday?
Hmm?
When's your birthday?
1909.
What month?
Hmm?
What month were you born?
In August.
Mm-hmm. When did you join the Army?
Well, have it on that paper. I'll have to look it up. May the 18th, 1942.
Where'd you take your basic training?
At I took my basing at Duncan Field at my wife got this wrong here. Down San Antonio. Duncan Field.
Mm-hmm. What did you train?
All I was to do first mechanics and driving the trucks too, mostly.
Oh, truck driver and mechanics?
Hmm?
Be a truck driver and mechanic?
Yeah. When they needed a driver, I drove, and most of the time I worked on the shop, but it helped keep the trucks going.
Mm-hmm.
We was a trucking company and attached to the Air Corps.
Mm-hmm. How long did you stay at San Antonio?
Well, from about May the 18th to about 1942.
Mm-hmm. When you left San Antonio, where did you go?
Sir?
When you left San Antonio, where did you go?
Well, we went to Camp Stoneman in California, and part of embarkation.
Then you went overseas?
Yes, sir.
Where'd you go?
Well, I went to New Caledonia. We boarded the MS Pennant Nova the 1st, 1942, and went out under the Golden Gate Bridge on November the 3rd. And wife, I told her about some of the guys getting seasick before we got out of the harbor, and I said, got that down here.
Mm-hmm. Did anything happen on the trip over?
No, I guess nothing very exciting.
How long did it take you to get to New Caledonia?
Well, we got to New Caledonia on, let's see, November the 22nd.
What'd you do on New Caledonia?
I've done mostly first echelon work on the vehicles and drove when they needed an extra driver. We was a trucking company attached to the Air Corps, and I drove trucks some, and when wasn't driving, I worked on vehicles, helped keep them up.
Mm-hmm. Were the Japanese pretty well cleared out to that area?
Yeah, we didn't see anything at all. The only thing that even scared us a little bit when we was on let's see, it was to the air base, come to the air base. We had a long line of transport planes off the side of the field, had them parked, and a suicide Japanese plane, a little old plane, he dove in on them one evening and had them wing to wing, and he just grazed the backside of one wing, and the bomb didn't go off even. It killed him right there, and that's all the excitement I had in my part of it all the way through. Just had to stay there a long time and do a lot of work.
Did you spend the rest of the war there at New Caledonia?
Well, most of it. Went on up to we went from New Caledonia to the Los Negros Island. Went there September 23rd. And we stayed on the ship till then we transferred to an LST and went from there to Caledonia, New Guinea, October the 2nd.
Of 44, 43.
Well, we didn't have a date. I expect it was 44 probably.
Mm-hmm.
They was moving us on up while we got stranded on one island and had to stay there for a while and wait for transportation. And they took us to another little
Did you get to the Philippines?
No, we didn't go to the Philippines. We was quite away from the Philippines, north and east. And
Where were you when the war ended? Where were you when the war ended?
Oh, I'm not sure. I've forgotten so much of it, and I didn't make enough notes.
Do you remember VJ Day?
Sure.
What'd you do that day?
Well, I don't remember what I did. Just the usual thing, I guess.
Was there a big celebration?
No, we didn't.
Mm-hmm. What was your father's name?
Nimrod.
Nimrod?
Nimrod.
Where was he from?
Oh, Missouri, I think, where we came from.
Mm-hmm. And what was your mother's name?
Martha.
What was her maiden name?
Sickles. It's Ickels.
Mm-hmm. Was she from Missouri also?
Yeah.
When did your parents come to Oklahoma?
Oh, gosh, I don't know. That's kind of hard to tell. Right when they first started settling our part of the country, anyway.
You said you were born near Redoubt?
Redoubt, R-E-A-D-O-U-T.
And that's near Rosston?
Yeah.
That's,
3 miles east. That was their schoolhouse, but
is that around here or is that over east?
Hmm?
Is that around here or is that east
no,
of here?
It's 7 miles north of town and about 2 miles back east.
Oh, so it's north of Laverne.
Mm-hmm,
Okay.
Laverne, yeah, man.
Yeah. Was your father a farmer?
Yes, sir.
What crops did you raise?
Oh, wheat and spring crop, cattle.
Mm-hmm. Did you help in the wheat harvest?
Sure.
Did you help in the wheat harvest?
Sure.
What'd you do?
Out in the combine. I could have given some more on the Army experience here on down the line. But
Oh, okay. Go ahead.
let's see, we went to New Guinea as far as that was.
Mm-hmm.
And from there we went to a little island that they called it Biak Island. It was mostly just white coral rock. And it was just 2 degrees off of the equator, and boy, I'm telling you, they get pretty hot in the daytime. The sun shining right down on you. If you had a shade, well, there's usually a little ocean breeze that's pretty decent, but when you was right out in the sun, it was hot. And from there we went to Okinawa. And August 14th or the 4th, we debarked for Naha Airfield.
Where is Naha Airfield?
On this Okinawa island. One of the islands I was on, I've forgotten which one it was, but it was in a hurricane. Blowed all her buildings down, and some of the guys went back in. That's when was on this BX at Rock Island, I guess. And there was holes back in the banks there, and a lot of the guys that tore down their tents and all that. So they crawled back in some of them holes, and after they got in there, they discovered it was their burial ground. They had big old tall vases and had bones scraped off clean and had them in those vases back in those holes back inside the banks. Well, I put down here what I told her about one day. I was on CP one day, and we got all pineapple on these while I was on CP, and it didn't share much for after that. I ate so much that day. I was hungry for stuff like that.
Mm-hmm. Were you still a truck driver at this time?
All the time I was overseas.
Yeah.
There were so many guys that had been overseas much longer than I had that I just, my rating was just T5, corporal I was technician. And I would have made it on that, but all the other guys had been there so much longer than I had that I didn't have much of a chance to. When we came back to the States from the island, I can't tell you the name of that place. You could probably tell me. I can't think of nothing. We came back to Columbia River, and what town's there? Up in the northwest corner of the United States.
Oh, Portland?
Portland, that's what I was thinking of. And we went up the Columbia River and docked, and we got a train then on over to northeast part of Kansas, and no, it wasn't Kansas. I can't think of the name of that town where I got my discharge.
What, in Kansas?
Mm-hmm.
Was it Fort Riley?
Yeah, I guess that was it.
And the forts up there are Fort Riley and Fort Leavenworth?
Fort Leavenworth, that was it.
Fort Leavenworth?
Yeah. Then we got discharged there and came back to Dodge City on train and caught the bus, and that was the end, and came home, and that was the end of my Army career.
And came back to Laverne?
Mm-hmm. And still live there.
Mm-hmm. That big tornado of 47. The big tornado of 47.
Yeah.
How close did it come to Laverne?
Oh, when I was in the Army, that was overseas, over on the islands.
Mm-hmm. Tell me some more about wheat harvest.
Oh, what do you want to know about it?
When did your father first get a combine?
Oh, my dad never did it for a combine. It just cut with the header, in header bars. You probably have seen them.
Yeah.
And then I started then with combine. I've worked on headers some too, but never did have one of my own when I went to combine. And still do that.
Mm-hmm. How many men in a harvest crew
on the old headers.
Yeah.
Well, usually where they'd have two barges to elevate the wheat up in, you know, the wheat, and it'd take two guys on each barge, and they'd usually have two of them, and one man to run the header, and another flunky, about four anyway.
Mm-hmm. How many acres of wheat did you plant at that time?
Oh, we didn't farm great big fields, maybe 150 200 acres probably was all we had then when it was that kind of equipment.
How long did it take to harvest that much wheat?
Oh, usually 2 weeks anyway, week and a half or 2 weeks, just depending on the weather, of course, and all that.
Who had the thrasher in the area?
Oh, one of my cousins had one, and this thrashed all over the country.
What was his name?
Bill Sickles.
How are those thrashers run by steam?
Well, we didn't have any of that old gas engine.
Okay.
It was a little after the steam engines. I've seen a few of them working now, but we didn't have one.
Yeah, okay. What kind of house did you live in as a child?
Part of it was a sod house with a shingle roof on it.
Did you have the inside of the sod house plastered?
Yes, sir.
What did you plaster it with?
Oh, just the cement plaster, just like the brick house or something.
How exactly do you build a sod house?
Well, I never did see it down. It was already built before I come to this country. But they had it cut off in, I would say about slabs about that long and about so thick. And
About 12, 14 inches long?
I expect something like that, and maybe about 8, 10 inches wide. And they just kind of lay that up like you would bricks.
You say part of it was sod. What was the other part of the house made of?
Well, lumber.
Lumber?
Uh-huh.
Do you still live on the place up there?
No, I live in town, but I farm it. I live in Laverne, but I still farm it.
Where did you start to school?
Redoubt.
Redoubt?
Yes, sir.
What year?
Oh, I was born in 1909. I was 6 years old when I went to school.
About 1915?
I expect that about catch it.
Do you remember Armistice Day in school?
You bet.
Tell me about that day.
Well, we had flag drill. Salute the flag.
Remember the big dust storms?
Yes, sir. I sure do.
Tell me about those dust storms, especially Black Sunday.
Well, that was the only real bad one like that we ever had, but it was so dark that the chickens went to roost, and the stilt was just, everything was covered with dust when it was over. Well, just pretty good coat of dust. And it was so light or so dark that you had to have a light inside in the house to read or anything like that.
What did that storm look like when it was coming in?
Oh, it was just a black cloud rolling in, but you could tell that it wasn't a rain cloud when it came in that way.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, we had lots of wind blow and the dirt around pretty bad after that at times, but it wasn't nothing like that was.
Mm-hmm. Well, what else can we talk about?
Oh, I don't know.
Well, I think we have a good interview.
Hmm?
I think we have a good interview.
I think so.
Yeah.
With your help.
Yeah. Where'd you meet your wife?
Oh, the barn.
How long have you been married?
Let's see. I married late in life. About, let's see. I'll have to figure. Wife could tell you, but I can't. Don't remember.
Yeah. Okay. Well, thank you.